Shalom, Rastafari, Assalamu alaikum, and peace to the kings and the queens of the earth. How's everybody doing this week? I want to give a big shout out to everybody who gave me my Earth Strong wishes last Wednesday. It's kind of took a week off. I was actually working also, harvest season in the garden, so put in some work for about 6 days and was pretty busy. So I want to give a really big thank you and a shout out to everyone who's given me the wishes and who's liked the pick, and it really means a lot, and I appreciate y'all from the heart. Today, let's get into it. I wanted to talk today about really the NFL and why the NFL should drop its ban on marijuana, or aka cannabis. Basically, it is a long time coming. So we're going to get into it today. Why the NFL should stop its ban on cannabis. Again, they've really made it clear in the NFL. When I played, it was a serious offense. Any kind of cannabis use, first of all, you're randomly drug tested all the time. And it doesn't matter when or where you're at. Once you're under contract, you are randomly drug tested. You don't have to even be in town. Stories that I had personally, and this is when I wasn't even smoking. I didn't even look at cannabis for anything. And I was pretty much a drinker. Don't know many times that I didn't have a weekend when I was drinking from like Thursday to whatever. And when I look back on it, it was a complete blur. But random drug testing happening all the time. And I'm talking about when I even got signed to at the time they were the San Diego Chargers. They're the LA Chargers now. But I remember I got signed and I was in Minnesota, and I was going to get allocated to get through the program to go through NFL Europe. So I was going to play NFL Europe, allocated by the Chargers, go over there and play some ball. And the day I got signed, I think I was in my apartment in Minnesota still. And about 2 days later, I got a call from one of the drug administration people saying like they're like outside my apartment. I got to be ready. They really didn't give me much time to prepare. Like I think I might have got an email the day before or the night before, maybe saying that I'm going to get drug tested. So I had to be in my house at like 8:00. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Like if you missed the appointment, it's looked at as a failed drug test. So he was there. He pulled up. They probably just got a local person to administer it, whatever. And he showed up at my apartment. You know what I mean? I had to do the whole drug test thing there, and it's not private at all. It's not some kind of thing where you can hide anything. This guy's literally has to watch you pee in the cup in your bathroom, right? So the random drug test, and that's one of the reasons why I never got into cannabis, because I was just scared of that reason. I mean, the drug test was happening all the time. So in essence, the penalties were very harsh. I remember the NFLPA has recently, in the past 2 to 3 years, come to an agreement, though, with the NFL to lower some of the punishments that they did have through the NFL. When I played, it was pretty tough. You get caught once, they don't really talk about it, but they put you in some like program. You go see some therapy, whatever. And then if you get caught twice, you're automatically suspended for 4 games. And it's a press conference, and it's an issue. You're deemed, around the league, you better be a really good player to survive that stuff. So, it was really bad. Guys like, I remember guys like Josh Gordon, whose career to me was completely, messed up because he said, oh, he has an addiction. I just think that he just knows what makes him feel better. I think he knows what keeps him, in a specific place. I think he knows, specific things like that, enable him to can still be a great athlete. And he's still out there playing, right? He's not in the NFL, he's in the XFL, played a couple leagues, but he was one of the, he's still, to this day, I guarantee he would get a chance in the NFL. He's gotten numerous chances. But many players got their careers messed up just off of cannabis alone. And it's really weird now because obviously, even during the time, Denver, Colorado, legalizations has happened a long time ago. And now we're getting to that point in the NFL, especially, where there's not many states that don't have some sort of at least a medical program. I think the only state at this point that doesn't have it would be Texas. And I think that there's not many other states that at least have, I think maybe Wisconsin, and that might be it. I don't think that there's too many other programs, or sorry, other states that have either a medical or recreational program that have an NFL team. But it's very low right now. And at the end of the day, I looked at it my way too. I took some notes here also. And I looked at it, well, first of all, let's compare the situation to the other leagues. And NBA has made an announcement even this past year. They never really had too bad of punishment or laws for cannabis use. It was more like they just, okay, you got to slow it down a little bit. But then later on, they have now just dropped it as a ban. And it has not a big deal. Like, do you understand? I think that the stigma of cannabis is ridiculous when it comes to like, well, we allowed y'all to smoke. What's going to happen? Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. It's cannabis is a complete healer. And when it's done the right way, and especially when it's natural, when it's applied to the specific, the terpene specifics to the ailment, it's a no-brainer that it works way better than any kind of chemical thing that you're putting together. So at the end of the day, nothing will happen. You see how the NBA, I don't know what people thought, like all of a sudden you see a bunch of NBA players that are going to be smoking on the block. No, they still have brands. There's still a brand here. And I guarantee there's some paperwork that states that, hey, just keep it behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Go home, smoke all you want when you go to the crib. But don't, but some companies, like some either former players or some players, are invested in cannabis companies. Go to the NHL. There's never been anybody in the NHL who's going to be like you notice there's not a lot of drug suspensions in the NHL, right? They pretty much lowered it. I remember hearing about specific teams having having a cocaine problem, right? And like literally the NHL had to come through and be like, listen, slow it down or we're going to take some punishment, right? Nothing happened to the game. Nothing has happened to these players. And I think that's more of a culture thing with the NHL, right? I don't think too many NHL players maybe smoke cannabis. I can see them using it as a topical for pain relief. And maybe they do, There's some that do. But I think it's one of those things that is just not a big deal. And I think that when you go to other leagues, professional leagues, they don't really have a policy. And then that's why it's so crazy that the one high impact sport that probably delivers the most pain out of any one of these professional sports is not using something that will benefit them on a major level. And I've gotten caught up in this. Now I played again for the Vikings, the LA Chargers, or they were San Diego, now they're LA. And when I played for the Vikings about 2005 year, I fractured my ankle during the season. My ankle was facing two places, right? So I had to have double surgery, two surgeries. And at the time, I just didn't think these Oxycontin pills were, a big deal at the time, right? So I would just pop them for pain relief, pop them for, anything I need. Sometimes just pop them just so I can go to sleep because it was hard to sleep with this pain, and it was hard to sleep with my foot having to be, in a specific position all night. And so, you start popping them, and then you start, getting that little, I don't know if people know about that itch, that skin itch, because you didn't pop like two or three because you think it's just going to knock you out. But in essence, it's kind of like makes you a little loopy and different. And I kind of obviously I stopped, but yeah, it almost caught me up because I didn't really realize what I'm trusting doctors. It's 2005. We're trusting the doctors. So, you're not really thinking that how this is really affecting everything else that you're doing. And again, I wasn't smoking anything, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because of how the drug testing was back then, right? I don't think I probably would have got caught, and because I would have loved this shit too much, and I would have got caught. I'm out there, tell me, I'm in California or in Minnesota, but if I was in California at the time, in 2007, there's no way that if, I had, things would have been different, put it that way. You know what I mean? And I think that I would have had to stay the hell away from it instead of having to, because of the one time you're like, okay, it's after a game, I really want to smoke. And Next thing you know, you get a drug test 2 days later. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's it's something that's ridiculous. And now again, the NFL has lowered, but they should just take it off the drug administration. They should just take it off as a banned substance. It doesn't make any difference. Football players, to me, need it the most, and here's why. The CBD component for the topicals, that's an easy one. For joints, pain relief, that's been proven that could be used everywhere. Two, the when you smoke more, you drink less. We all know that. When you smoke more, you drink less. And I do believe that these people in the NFL, they know what they're doing, and they know that if they just drop the banned substance, that alcohol won't be a big thing for some of these players, right? I truly believe that most of these players will stay their ass home. I know I would have, and they won't be so big on going to the clubs, or they won't be so big on, drinking in front of and popping bottles. I'm telling you right now, once you smoke, you kind of get into a better zone where it's like, I'm gonna stay my ass home, or maybe I have some people over here. We have a session and we all just eat and go to sleep. Total different vibe, right? And I also think that I put down here, there's politics that are involved as to why the NFL doesn't do it. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? Pain relief, cannabis is number one. You are dealing with so much muscle pain and so much joint pain and so much, things, especially during the season. Mental, even concentration. I would have loved to have been able to smoke a specific terpene, uppy sativa, aka, and be able to look over my playbook or go over film study. I think a lot of players, they would love that shit, to steam cannabis and have a bong and be looking at and be working pretty much. It's almost like smoking and creating music, right? It goes to me, it goes hand in hand. I don't really write. I don't know if I've written many verses without having a smoke or something, having to, open up that left and right brain a little bit. But in order to, and I think, like I said, I think it's political as well, because, NFL does have a lot of alcohol contracts, right? Beers in every stadium, right? There's 32 NFL teams. That means there's 32 stadiums sitting average between 65 and 70,000 fans a game. A lot of beer being drinking, and we all know that, as much as, some people like the Quebec province likes to put the cannabis right next to the alcohol and put them all in the same thing, it shouldn't be like that. It's a total different thing. And most people, for instance, are not going to say, have a nice blunt and then have a Budweiser. I haven't seen that. We're not going to get into why people aren't buying Budweiser now, but I already had a podcast about that. But, I say Labatt Blue or something like that. You know what I mean? Some kind of whatever beer. Coors Light, Coors, Busch, whatever. Most people aren't mixing that with cannabis. So it's almost like they're just trying to kind of keep the powers that be that pay a lot of money happy. But that has nothing to do with the actual NFL player that's out there. I know for a fact, I speak with players who smoked. I speak with players who have ducked that situation the entire time. You know what I mean? Somehow, some way, they have detox drinks that they literally have to drink almost every single day. And they kind of stop during the time when they kind of know when they might be tested. You know what I mean? Get away with it. And then once they get tested, they know that they're not going to be tested for a long time. So sometimes some guys will be so happy that they got tested because they know they can smoke that night. Right? They're not going to just, they take a drug test from you, you'll be fine, you clean. And then that night they know you're clean, so you just, now you puffing away. But you're playing Russian roulette with your career for something that is completely legal in, I think now 30 some states. It's almost like 40. A medical program or a somewhat cannabis program. And the ones that are the states that are kind of the only one that's major is Texas. Florida has a medical program, and big states, New York, obviously New York State has a legalization program. There's not many big states and big places that don't have it. And these places, again, Texas is probably the most major spot with the most teams that doesn't have a medical program. They only have 2 teams. They have Houston and Dallas. So really, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? It's not a big deal at all. And I think that with the pain, the contact, the high-end contact sport, the Alzheimer's, things that are in Parkinson's that might happen through your contacts of your CTE, all these things have been proven that CBD and THC and the cannabinoids actually help the brain development for these things. These are not just things I'm listing off. Please go look them up yourself. So to me, I just wanted to talk about it and just really call that the NFL really should ban. They need to ban their cannabis program, as far as you not being able to like heal yourself or take cannabis at all without you having some sort of punishment with a drug test. It's ridiculous. They try to say they lower the percentage and no, just ban it. Just stop it. It's not a big deal. You're not going to see a bunch of players smoking weed or getting a bunch of cannabis offenses because they just bought a pound, whatever. I mean, in most of these states, they literally can do that legally, right? They can have a medical program and get their 4 ounces a month or whatever the fuck. So why not just literally help them heal the most? Well, it's just ironic how, again, the NFL always looks at player safety, but does things like this to kind of prevent their safety. Again, it's, to me, with the NFL, corporate, political, a lot of things that, this and NFL likes to play like they're like kind of liberal, but really they're really conservative. They have liberal football players and liberal staff with conservative ownership. So I can see that being a big factor as to why they wouldn't want to do this, because probably most of these people have their hands in alcohol. All right, NFL, get your shit together. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for listening. See y'all soon.